Well, hey everybody. I got a funny little story to relate to you. One of my customers invited me to dinner because in painting the inside of her house, she'd been having conversations with her younger sister and she'd put it on speaker and I got to know her a little bit. So they were coming into town for a visit, her and her husband. And so she invited me to join them for dinner, which I was grateful for. And her best friend and her husband were going to join as well, but the husband was going to show up later in the evening. Well, we started the dinner and we'd just done our order, and the husband showed up, so he ordered something. And in the process of the conversation and getting to know her sister and brother-in-law and friend, I was telling them a story about my older brother's business partner from years ago, who had introduced a good friend of my family's to the Lord. And I was ever grateful for it. And I'm telling the story about this guy who had impressed me quite a bit during the process of a couple of years that we actually had conversations. And anyway, the friend's husband began to ask me about my brothers. And it dawned on me, the guy I was telling the story about was the guy sitting right next to me. And I hadn't initially recognized him, and it was just, had nothing but good things to say about this man because he had brought nothing but good into my life and lives of those who I held with some importance. Anyway, it went from a handshake to start to a hug at the end, and it was just a pleasant experience all the way around. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever had that experience or not, but it's a little humbling when you're sitting there and there's somebody that has put a nugget into your life that meant something, and then you suddenly realize that that person is still there, and even though you had assumed otherwise, and you're ecstatic. I mean, and I won't give you names in order to protect their anonymity, but very impressive individual, and the spirit is just sweet. I mean, it's one of those things that's why he made such an impact on me, not only in the context of who he was in my life at the time, but the influence he had. So, you know, if you've ever had that experience, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But we need to recognize those people that have given us something over the period of years that have really meant something and been important to us. And it's just a matter of stopping, acknowledging that, and trust me, you'll be ever so glad that you did. Anyway, I'll try to upload a little more often, but this just happened recently, so I had to do this one. You guys have a great evening, be blessed, and we'll see you again soon.